Hello, I'm joined by Coach Samuel Ma of Modern Brain. It's a pleasure to see you here, sir.
Yes, thank you so much for inviting.
Sam, I'm curious about two things. First, what would you say your speech debate mock trial origin story is? And then second, what would you say is your top achievement either as a competitor, a coach, or both?
Origin story would definitely be freshman year of high school. I was just a single-sided witness, but I got eviscerated on cross. I did horribly, but I looked at the attorney and I was like, I want to be you one day. And so the next 3 years after, I focused on my attorney role. And that's kind of where I fell in love with mock trial, and public speaking just in general. I explored debate after that a few years later. Top achievement as a competitor, I would have to say, is last year, our program bidding to nationals for the first time in over half a decade. So pretty cool moment to be able to go to nationals, see the competitive field and on the East Coast and Midwest. Just seeing that. Debate wise would probably be making it to nationals high school for the Reagan Great Communicator debate series. I competed my junior year, didn't quite make it out. Senior year, made it out, and made and bid into the prelims with the most ballots.
Gotcha. And to be clear, the process of qualifying the nationals as a collegiate mock trial competitor versus in high school Reagan debate, can you tell us what the difference looks like there?
Yeah, so for Reagan debate in high school, they've actually evolved a lot now, but they have 8 to 16 different qualifiers across the region. There's usually about 20 to 50 competitors each region, and whoever wins first place bids the nationals. For AMTA collegiate mock trial, it's all team based. There's multiple regionals across 4 different weeks. I think it's over 800 teams across the nation. And if you place top six in your regional, you bid to Orcs, which is the Open Round Championship Series, which are another group of top teams who all bid from regionals. And if you make top five or top six there, you bid to nationals. And then the top 40 to 50 teams compete at Nats.
Got it. So in the first instance, it's you basically working individually. That's the Reagan style of debate. And then on the collegiate mock trial side, it's totally team-based. How did
Yes.
you develop those skills in order to succeed both as an individual national level competitor and then as a team leader national competitor? How do you go from getting eviscerated on cross as a high school underclassman to making those national level successes later on?
Yeah, for individual performance, the biggest thing I learned was learning from the failures. Kind of like that origin story that I mentioned. But there were lots of times where I had recorded previous rounds individually or, our team in mock trial overall in high school and, watching back on why we lost that ballot, why we lost those 1 or 2 points there, and kind of reviewing those videos, immediate application for both myself and my team. And overall, just having fun. Like you automatically gain confidence by yourself, and as a team if you're just enjoying what you're doing. And so I think that's the biggest thing that I learned as an individual competitor. When I got to the collegiate level for mock trial, the team-based thing was definitely something that I had been used to before, but with all of my peers who are not only better than me or at the same level as me, it was a humbling experience, but also like knowing that you have people who have not only got your back, but people that you have their back. And so learning together from those failures was the biggest thing that I learned leadership wise, was making sure that everyone not only has a voice, but also feels involved. It's the worst feeling to, kind of just be told what to do every now and then. So making sure that we're all involved, having fun, and doing those review videos and, immediate application is super, super important.
That explains the skills. I think that also explains how you develop the confidence, but why? I mean, some people will just do speech and debate because they want to get into a prestigious college or into a law school if they're doing it as collegiate competitors. Other people have an ambition that runs deeper than that. What kind of ambition would you say that you've had competitively, and how did you develop that level of ambition?
Yeah, I think it started naturally as, oh, I want it to be something on an application or, putting it somewhere on my resume. But it kind of turned into this like weird passion of mine that I kind of just think about. Like in high school or even at my first year in college, I would think about like what I was doing, and for some reason it just wouldn't get out of my head. And so continuously thinking about it, having the ambition to keep on doing it, was something that was really wanting to do. And obviously winning felt like just this really, really interesting, like high peak moment that I had that I just you always want to chase after over and over again. And so that ambition ultimately led to like also wanting to help coach like the younger generation, and also kind of why I'm working at Modern Brain is, I see all of the opportunities that I didn't have in high school, and I want to be able to make those opportunities or assist them in their opportunities that they're currently in. That way they have a better experience from what they're doing now.
If you could go back in time and change the experience that you had as a competitor, both in high school mock trial and within the Ronald Reagan national debate circuit, how would you approach it differently, if at all?
Uh, Finding more opportunities to compete. In high school, especially in mock trial, you do 4 rounds a year. Now we do 4 rounds a weekend in college, and so the amount of like repetitions that you get in competing is so vastly different, which is why like a lot of the extracurricular or like academy programs, they compete in so many more tournaments that I never knew about back then when I was in high school. And so if I had known, if I just had that knowledge, I would have been able to try and compete more. And so that's something that I really wish that, I had known back then. As for the Reagan debate side, being more personable. I kind of took things too seriously my junior and senior year. And not just that it's not that it's bad to take things seriously, but that type of debate encourages personality, telling jokes, things like that. And so that's something that I didn't learn until I was actively judging the Reagan debate, in college. And so knowing that back then would have been a bigger difference in how I would have competed.
So obviously developing the skill of humor would have been helpful to you back then, and having the just knowledge of all the different tournaments you could attend, that also be helpful. But what else are you taking from your high school speech and debate experience in terms of portable skills? Some people say, I learned how to research very well. Others say, I just got my life on track and I'm good at organizing things in general. I'm more productive. What does that look like for Coach Samuel Ma?
The biggest thing would be confidence, and just the ability to speak publicly. I've gotten a lot of compliments from like professors, interviewers, or even peers that I see just kind of as I walk around, that the way that I speak is easy to understand, formal, and also straight to the point. Which is, in my opinion, a really, really big compliment, especially for people who are interviewing you or for professors who enjoy talking to you. And so while it's kind of like, duh, you're learning public speaking, like you do learn how to actually speak publicly and be more personable with the people that you interact with on a day-to-day basis, even if it's your peers or, people who you look up to or people who you're trying to, interview for a job, and it's definitely a big edge that I think I got from just public speaking in general. And so that and personality, in my public speaking is the biggest portable skill or takeaway that I have.
Aside from being direct, personable, having that personality, what are the other principles of coaching that you try to impart on your students? And let me toot your horn for one moment here. Coach Ma is part of, I think, the best mock trial coaching staff, certainly at the high school level in the world right now. This season alone, the Modern Brain mock team has gone to 8 tournaments. We have won 6 of those 8 tournaments. And one of the tournaments we did not win, we went undefeated at. We just didn't get a chance to face the other team that was undefeated. And also, we have 26 different team awards across those tournaments, and Coach Ma is a huge part of that. So, taking everything together, what is the Coach Ma brand of coaching philosophy?
Yeah, I think it's a lot of different things. Not only is it hard work, but it's also fun. I think especially our program in general, we all like each other, or at least that's what I like to think so at the very least. And so people constantly, whether it's students communicating to me or, asking for feedback, but even when I'm like actively, helping them with material on Zoom or even in person or on scrimmages, like it doesn't feel like it's a chore, and I think that's very, very important, especially for a successful program that people are enjoying what they're doing. You don't ever expect your students to be perfect, but you always expect them to be present, to and be ready to learn, right? And so for me, especially when I try to impart things on students, I try my best to be available. I think that being available as a coach is a big quality of, being reachable at times. And this isn't just like, being available 24/7, but giving the right amount of feedback to students and splitting your time equally is what I really, really strive to do as much as possible. And so I like to think for me personally, that's my biggest impact on the program is being able to give that information and that advice when needed. And also putting on that show of like, hey, let's have a good time, have fun, but also be ready to succeed.
I really like don't be perfect, be present. It stands by itself. It's like sounds like ancient wisdom, or sounds like something you could get in an airport, or sounds like a mock trial theme. I think that's one of
Yeah.
those universal little phrases. What's something that you care enough about right now? It could be something related to mock trial or debate education, or something you independently care about that you're able to advocate for better using your speaking skills.
Yeah, this is actually a really, really good example. This whole last year, my, kind of third or senior year in college, I've been working a lot on my political science thesis, which is based on eyewitness misidentification, which links directly to mock trial. If you ever see or any character witness who is identifying a person and all you're doing on cross-examination is you can't tell me for sure or you're not 100% certain, and so I kind of took that to a like political science level, and I'm planning to speak at, whether it's UC conferences or other political science conferences about that topic. And so getting that perfectly from those public speaking skills to be able to directly link it to my current research and work is especially important. And I'm assuming one of my hooks of my speech is probably going to be this fun mock trial, like cross-examination pocket to grab people's attention. So things like that I'm thinking of link directly between what I've been doing as a competitor and coach and how I'm doing academically as well.
If people want to support you later on, aside from the mock trial Modern Brain website, where can they independently find you if they want to follow your work?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing regarding my work would be on LinkedIn. It's just my name, Samuel Ma. It's pretty easy to find me. There's only two of me actually, one from
Huh.
UCLA, one from UC San Diego. I'm the one from UC San Diego.
And looking at your about section, just in case they really want to make sure it's you, you begin with a great hook. It took me 6 months to discover that the Rubik's Cube has over 43 quintillion possible configurations. That is a great opening line, and that is exactly where we're going to close our conversation today. Coach Samuel Ma, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much.